Oh. Phil Spencer says you can't appreciate the true power of the next generation yet, Lord Vader. You want this, don't you? So over here on GameSpot, says here Phil Spencer says you might not appreciate how much better next games are until you can feel the improvement that comes with 60 frames per second. Yes, my master. Xbox boss. Phil Spencer has acknowledged that it's been challenging to demonstrate the true leap that the Xbox Series X will provide over the Xbox One. In Reggie's new podcast, Spencer said the most defining characteristics of next-gen games is how they feel, with faster and more stable frame rates. It's not possible to demonstrate this with videos, Spencer said. And with physical events canceled or postponed due to COVID, Microsoft is facing a new dilemma in trying to communicate the appeal of faster frame rates. This is a new challenge, Spencer said, because for previous console transitions throughout history, the power of new systems was immediately apparent with better graphics. Interesting. Told you graphics were real important. One of the things I've talked about publicly, but it's hard to come across, is the way it feels to play games on a box where frame rates are higher, frame rates are more stable, Spencer said. The fluidity of it, showing that in video form, is just impossible. No, even if it is the Xbox Series X. How do you show how something feels? He added, we're getting to the point where the immersion feel that you get through fluidity and other things is now up to par with the visual capabilities that we have. How do you share that with people in this kind of world? Spencer said he is optimistic, Prime, about being able to put the Xbox Series X in front of consumers at some point in the future before launch to help them understand the appeal of the new system. That Ron made to play at the game. Bars! But it's unlikely to happen soon due to the government restrictions surrounding social distancing. The feel relative to previous console generations will be something people remark positively about, Spencer said. The Xbox Series X is technically capable of delivering frame rates up to 120 frames per second, but developers will ultimately get to decide what works best in terms of the balance between visuals and frame rate. I know the PC guys is like, man, y'all still can't give us this shit reliably. 3,000 frames per second forever, Harold. Also in the interview, Spencer reiterated that he expects the Xbox Series X, that Ron Lake played the game Bars, wants to go forward as planned this holiday. He said his teams are doing an amazing job during a challenging environment. We had another hardware review we did this week. Our supply chain, we feel good about the hardware side. It feels like we'll be able to get enough units. We're pretty committed to a worldwide launch, which regretfully we didn't do with the Xbox One, Spencer said. The software of the Xbox X is also making good progress, Spencer said. He added that game development is also moving along, but with some interruptions. Games are making good progress. The collaborative nature of game development and the scale of game development today, Spencer said. Any of the functions that require physical collaboration, things like motion capture, things like symphonic capture, those kinds of things, some of that is put on hold. COVID-19 crisis has led to changes in Microsoft policies. For example, Spencer pointed out that third-party developers are now allowed to take their Xbox Series X development kits home. And this would have not been allowed in years previously. Finally, Spencer also spoke about the rebuilding process within the Xbox team. The Xbox One launch in 2013 was marred by controversial policies and a $100 higher price point than the rival PS4. Yes, it was. This contributed to Microsoft coming up short against Sony in the previous console generation. Yes, it did. All right, y'all. Well, there we have it. All right, says we can't really see it with a video. You need to see it running in person, apparently. What do you think, huh? What do you think? I guess we shall see. No matter what, we won't know until these systems are out and performing in front of our eyes. You know what's kind of funny? I never really cared that much about frame rate. I never really did. And, you know, when I look at 30 frames per second versus 60 frames, yeah, I can see the difference. Do I need it? Absolutely not. Is it nicer? Yes. It's kind of like nicer graphics, you know. It's a better visual experience if you have 60 frames per second or higher or whatever. I get it. I don't need it, though. Maybe I should do a video on that. Frames per second does not matter. People be running,